Welcome everyone to this exciting interview segment. Today we have the pleasure of sitting down with Jennifer Dale, star of the Hallmark movie Operation Nutcracker. Join us as we delve into Jennifer's insights into her character and the challenges of filming this movie. Thank you, Jennifer, for being here today.
Thank you so much, Desiree. I'm enchanted by your accent. What part of Italy do you come from?
Northeast,
In the Northeast.
yes.
By chance, anywhere near Asolo?
Yes,
Yes. Do you
yes,
know Asolo?
yes, I'm from Montebelluna. It's
Oh,
the
that's so very close.
yes. Do you know
I've been,
Hasolo?
I do. I've been there about 4 times. And the reason is because for many, many years, I was obsessed with the story of Eleonora Duse. Do you know who she was?
Yes, of course.
And her home is there, and she lived there for the last part of her life. And my career was very much informed by her. And I did a one-woman play about her, and I've written scripts about her. And I'll tell you at the end of this interview about my latest project in which I also do something that involves her. So I love Asolo and that whole area.
Thank you. That's amazing. I didn't know that, so I'm
You,
very
yeah, you
proud.
you probably also don't know, Desiree, that I am actually part Italian. My father was Italian, and my real last name is Ciurluini.
Oh, great. I didn't know, but now, yes, I'm really proud of that. I'm
Yes, as you should be. Yes.
great. So we can start. Can you
Okay.
tell us a little bit about your character in Operation Nutcracker?
Yes. Well, I play Evelyn Warby, who is the mother of Tristan, played by Chris Russell. And I am the head of a foundation, a charitable foundation, for which we are having an auction fundraising event. And it is my hope that I will soon retire from this foundation and that Tristan will take over. So he is in the process of doing the crossover, and I'm hoping that he's going to fulfill what I want him to do for this particular event. And we run into some snags, of course. I hire a wonderful, lovely event planner played by Ashley Newbrow, who is just lovely. And I have them working together, and I have great hopes for their ability to work together. And, of course, things happen, and that's how it all unfolds.
Yeah. And what initially attracted you to your role in the movie?
Well, if I may be humble and just say they offered me the part, which is not what happens most of the time these days, as you may or may not know. Most actors of all levels of their career, unless you're like in the very top 1% tier of superstardom, most of us have to audition for everything that we want to play. And in this particular case, as happens very rarely, but very, blessedly, I was just offered the role, and I was very pleased by that. And then the director, David Weaver, phoned me, and we had a conversation, and I was very touched because he told me that when he was 16 years old, his father took him to see a film at the Toronto Film Festival. This would have been in 1979 or 80. And it was a film that was the first film that I starred in when I was first getting into the film business. It was a movie called Suzanne, and he had seen that film, and it had affected him very profoundly, and was partly responsible for him wanting to become a film director in Canada. And he told me that he considered me to be Canadian movie mythology. And so I felt very, very warmly embraced coming onto that set, as you might imagine.
Yeah. And what do you think makes this movie so special and captivating?
Well, of course, as with all of the Hallmark style rom-coms, we always hope that we're going to be captivated by the chemistry between the two leads. That's why we love these films, right? Because
Right.
we're always so moved and delighted to watch people falling in love. And of course, casting is key in this case, that, you know, your two leads have that requisite charm and are engaging and have a genuine chemistry with each other. And I think this movie definitely has that in spades.
Great. And what do you hope audiences take away from watching the movie?
Well, more or less the same answer, really. I mean, you know, we watch these films because we want to be inspired and because everybody loves to watch a good love story, right? Um, this is going all the way back to when these types of movies began. I know one of the other things you were going to ask me is about my own favorites
Yeah,
in terms of Christmas rom-coms. And
yeah,
I confess that I have not watched a lot of the more modern ones. And in fact, I have not even yet seen Operation Nutcracker in its entirety, finished, cut. It just was
right.
released last week. But, you know, I go back to the memories of watching films like the original Miracle on 34th Street and even the sequel, not the sequel, sorry, the remake of that. They were both wonderful films. And another old Christmas rom-com called The Bishop's Wife with Loretta Young and Cary Grant and David Niffen. I love those kinds of films too. But if I may also say, just the other night I watched Nicole Kidman's new film on Netflix called A Family Affair, which is not specifically a Christmas movie, but it's definitely a rom-com and it is
Yes,
really uh, delightful.
I
So
agree. Great. So, and what was it like working with the rest of the cast on set?
they were wonderful. As I said, I felt very warmly embraced by the whole company, crew, cast, the particular production company, Vortex Media. I really liked working with and would like to work with them again. In fact, my son is doing some work with them. My son, Ari Lantos, is also a producer and he's doing some work with them. And my sister, Cynthia Dale, is actually shooting a current Christmas movie with them,
Great.
playing a similar role to the one that I've played in Operation Nutcracker. And they're shooting that right now. I also loved working with the young actress who played my daughter in this piece. Her name is Anne Purvu, and she was just totally delightful to be on set with. You know, really an uplifting, joyous, vibrant personality. It's always great to be around people like that.
Yeah, great. And what can you tease about your character journey?
Uh, well, my character is somebody who just, I think, in this, you know, the hiring of Lottie and the giving the responsibility to Tristan, my son. I really I want I'm trying to show my faith in them for their ability to, you know, fulfill the task that I've set them, and I've hired her because of her apparent heart, and then I believe that they have been dishonest with me. And so I've become very disappointed in them and hurt, and feel that my faith has not been well founded. But in fact, of course, we discover that really they're just trying to protect me from, you know, from their own mishaps and want to make everything work out best for me in the end. And of course, we all discover this and everybody lives happily ever after.
Amazing. And what was your favorite scene or moment while filming the movie?
Well, I'll tell you, it's not so much that there was a favorite scene, but I can tell you that on my last day of shooting, we were doing the scene in the ballroom, which is the event of the auction, where the Nutcracker is going to be auctioned off. And there was an actor there who's in the piece as well, playing uh, Ashley's father. Lottie is her character, playing her father. He shows up in the scene unexpectedly. And it wasn't written in the original script, but the director came to me in my dressing room when they were setting up the shot, and he said, Jen, I want to add a moment in this scene for you. He said, because, you know, maybe we'll get to make an Operation Nutcracker 2, and I'd like to plant a seed here that maybe there's a little attraction between you and
The father.
Lottie's father, right? But I'm a widow, obviously. And so he put that scene, that just that moment he gave us, added that, and the actor was a very handsome, lovely looking man. And while I was shooting that, I was thinking, and also he planted this seed about, you know, the possibility of a future romance. Who knows if that will ever happen or not? We don't know. But it planted a seed in me to think, you know, we never see these rom-com love stories with older characters, right? It's not the usual thing where I'm not complaining, but we are usually the mothers or, you know, the sideline characters.
Yes.
And I thought I would like to write one of these because I also write and have produced screenplays. I would like to write one of these in which the more mature characters in their 60s have the main love story, or at least an equal love story. And so since then, I have done that. I have written one,
Yeah.
and I am hoping that I will be able to get it made someday, somehow, with some company. Of course, I would love to do it with Vortex Media, but we don't know that that will happen either. But anyway, so I was inspired by that moment to pursue a whole other facet of my own talents, you know, because frankly, if somebody had told me a year before that you will write a Christmas movie script, I would not have believed it. But I hit on the story idea for it and the characters, and I had so much fun writing it. So that was a great delight for me.
I hope we can see that, watch that. We saw this type of romance of the 60s in Hallmark Chazak Pictures. There's the family drama. I don't know
Yeah.
if you know the series.
Oh
Do
no.
you know? It's a family drama, and the main protagonists are the children. They are in their 30s or 20s, but the parents have their love story as well. So it's
Yeah.
and they are, I think, 50s or 60s
Yes.
from the actors.
Yes, and you might also be interested in that in the script that I've written, I've I've also got a whole through line of Italianness in it because I have one character who is Italian, which I would love to have Franco Lopresti play, and
Yeah,
I think you've interviewed him, haven't you?
yeah, yeah. I met
Yes,
you. I met him. Yes.
I thought you had, yes. And yes, because I also have studied the language for so many years. And so I have a character, an older character in it who's also studied the language and is
Great,
enchanted by the Italianness. I
great.
had to get that thread in there.
And there's some romance, 60s romance in Nicholas Sparks' novel,
Yes.
and so there will be interesting.
Ah, great.
There would be interesting.
Yes, because
Great.
people in their 60s do fall in love and their stories can be just and moving and, you know, so
Yes,
I hope to see more.
yes, me too. So, change of subject.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your character and your time on Netflix Sex Life? We are fans,
Yes.
so
Yes. So on Sex Life, I played Sarah Shahai's mother, and I was in the two seasons. I was only in, I think, two or three episodes. Um, And in the second season, I had much more to do with the character was much more fulfilled, where we get to see and learn the reasons why she's been so judgmental and fearful of the free sexual lifestyle that her daughter has been living, and reveals a story of her past where she was hurt by trying to be the same anyway. And I really loved playing that character and those scenes. I can tell you also, though, when we were shooting the first season of Sex Life, the first day that I was shooting was a dinner party scene. It was, I think, the scene where my character was being introduced. And there was another actor playing my husband, and we were all at this dinner party together. On that night that we were shooting that was the night that on the news, everybody was talking on the set about the fact that uh, Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson had come down with COVID. They were shooting on a set somewhere, I think in Australia.
Okay.
And there was also a sports team. I can't remember, what was it, a baseball team or a basketball team that had also all come down with it at the same time. So we were all talking about this, and within days, everything went into lockdown, and the whole production was shut down for months. And
Yes.
so when we came back to shoot, eventually with masks, we had to redo that scene, and they had to bring another actor to play the father character because they had to have somebody who was in Toronto. They couldn't be bringing the other actor back and forth from Los Angeles. Anyway, so that production was one of many that were deeply affected by the pandemic.
Okay. So, what have been some of the most memorable projects you have worked on throughout your long career, and why?
Well, Desiree, as you say, it has been a long career. I've been working since I was a child, and I have, in thinking about this, I realize I've done so many different kinds of things, and I've loved so many of them, as different as they have been. I loved back in the 80s and early 90s when the CBC used to do big costume period dramas, and I got to play some wonderful roles. I always loved getting dressed up in a corset and, Victorian costumes with big hair pieces and hats, and playing flamboyant characters in programs like that. On the other hand, I've played, a rock star and got to sing with a band and, do that kind of thing. I've I've worked with so many wonderful people, and it's really difficult to focus in on one thing. But if I may say, in a way, the thing that you're always working on in the present is sort of your favorite, if you know what I mean. So, and this will lead into your next question. So, I have been working for the last 2 years on a very personal passion project um, called Unrepentant. It is a series of short films about famous and infamous iconic women of history. And we are making these films available on our own website called unrepentantseries.com. You can visit it. I am doing several of these films. I've written several of them. I'm acting in several of them. I have other actresses who are going to act in some that I have written. I have other directors that are involved. We've shot 5. 3 are on the website currently. They're all Italian characters that I play. I play Eleonora Duse. I play Artemisia Gentileschi, the Baroque painter. And I play Veronica Franco, who was a Venetian courtesan poet in Renaissance Venice. And I've loved all these characters, and I've got so many more to do. I'm going to shoot another one in a couple of weeks, playing the Empress Theodora of Byzantium. And anyway, it's been a very engaging project to be working on, just for myself, and just to keep myself creative and in the game all the time.
Yeah, it seems you are really proud of that.
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. And there is something you can tease us about your next projects?
Well, I mean, that is my sort of current project.
Okay.
I think I've decided that I'm going to work on this project for the rest of my life, because the list of female characters whose legacies have been obscured that people don't know about is an endless list, and I'm making my way through it. So that will be an ongoing thing. I can tell you that last year I shot a role in the new David Cronenberg film, which will be, well, it had its premiere in competition at Cannes in May, and I think it will also play at TIFF and then probably have a general theatrical release after. That's a film called The Shrouds, in which I got to act with the marvelous, attractive French actor Vincent Cassel. And yes, and apart from that, well, I'm continuing to audition and do self tapes as we do, and looking forward to whatever is going to come next.
Best wishes.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Therese.
Make sure to watch the movie Operation Nutcracker on Hallmark now. Thank you, Jennifer, to join us. It is a pleasure.
Thank you, Desiree. It has been my pleasure too.
And thank you all for watching. Bye.
Bye.